Hey everyone, Roxbox90 here with my full M14 Core Set review, and I'm going to do it again, kind of like I was doing my other Modern Masters full review and it got cut short, but I'm going to be doing by color, I'm going to do it by type. So the first video will be the shorter sections, it'll be Artifact, Planeswalkers, and Lands, and then we'll get on to Creatures, Instant Sorceries, and Enchantments. So let's start out with lands first, since there's only 3 to mention. We have Mutavault, which is tap, add 1 colorless, and it becomes a 2/2 with all creature types. That's still a land. So it's raw value in that it's basically 1 for a 2/2 as a land. So that's of course great early on in the game. Also, it becomes 2/2 of all creature types, so it works with pretty much all tribal ever. Can become very annoying, and since we have a good amount of tribal in the core set, it's going to be a lot of fun, even I think in limited. And of course, it is used in a number of formats in really annoying tribal styled ways. So thank you for reprinting an incredibly expensive card. Thank you, Wizards, and awesome. Shimmering Grotto's here for limited, pretty much just to make your mana base a little better, otherwise it won't see any play outside of casual players. Encroaching Waste takes the stand of Tectonic Edge in trying again to figure out how to make a balanced wasteland strip mine, and pretty much it's tap for a colorless or tap 4, tap it, sack to destroy a non-basic land. I think it's fabulous. It's definitely going to work very well in Modern Tron. I think it'll still see a good amount of play even in Standard. I would see probably a 2 of in most decks, and maybe even more depending on. We'll have to see how powerful it is in the pro range of things, but it's definitely up there and awesome. And there are no dual core lands in this set because the land base in Standard is already fine with Shocks and the Guild Gates, so they wanted to take a break, and we just have basics. So yeah, not many lands. Then we have Planeswalkers. We have Ajani, Jace, Liana, are all reprints. So Ajani, killer in limited. Always wish that he can do well in standard. So far he hasn't quite been powerful enough because I think in part because he doesn't protect himself and he requires a bit heavy white for a 3-drop. So most acts I don't think want to dedicate a lot of their expense on him. So I think he'll still see relatively minimal play outside of casual limited formats. Jace Memory Adept, again, is a killer in Cube, huge in limited, crazy bomb, and has used somewhat. I don't know if he's still used so much in Standard. I haven't seen him around for a little while, but he's still a solid value, so he must see play in some way, and he's still going to be absolute in limited and Cube, and other than that, he'll see isolated play. Liliana of the Dark Realms, I think she's huge in EDH. She's fabulous. And I think she might see a little more play since the Shocks are now very viable and are doing well. It requires that black control is viable, and I don't know if it quite is. We don't have Thoughtseize this set, which is sad, but I think if we had some more control, I think she would have been killer. As is, she'll probably see a little play. Obviously, like most Planeswalkers, she's good in limited, and I think she's great in EDH Commander. 2 new Planeswalkers I've already discussed in previous spoiler vids, so I won't spend too much time on them. But Chandra the Pyromancer, I think, is going to be fine. She's probably decent in limited if used correctly. She's really going to require some work in constructed, and I don't quite think she makes it because she's a bit, I think, too random and not quite powerful enough for the current meta. So I don't think she's going to see a heck of a lot of play. She'll probably land at incredibly expensive value, like 30-something. And then she'll probably drop fairly quickly. That's my speculation on her. And if I'm wrong, well, sue me. Garruk, Caller of Beasts, is slightly more playable, but not so much still. 6 for 4. The first ability is fine for heavy aggro, but it's a bit of a risk for constructed players to take, especially with the amount of card draw that we still have available, particularly not so much I guess in Standard, but definitely in Modern. He's a bit on the expensive side, and I don't think he'll be quite worth the drop. There are just cards that are faster than him in terms of jumping out your big creatures, as his second ability does. The problem is it also is only green creatures. You might as well run cards that let you drop anything like Progenitus. So he's going to be, I think, he's fine for casual, might be good in the right EDH deck, and limited will probably be very big, especially if you just run green bombs from the set. But then again, most Planeswalkers are going to be killer in limited. So again, both their ultimates, Chandra and Garruk, don't really matter because it's going to be very hard to get them there. You're not going to probably aim for them without some crazy doubling season shenanigans. So 2 new Planeswalkers are kind of sad. They're definitely not up to par for what we need Planeswalkers to be these days. And yeah, kind of sad about them. And then lastly, let's run through artifacts. So we'll start at the bottom. Quarter Shield, it's kind of meh. I don't think it's even that good for limited. Sliver Construct is just an artifact, 3 for a 2/2. It's kind of generic. I wish it was 2/2 for 2, because then it would be a Sliver Bear, but of course we know slivers can be annoying, so having a colorless one is fabulous. Elixir of Immortality is great for Reanimator, messing around with Reanimator. And the fact that you can gain life, I think, will continue to be, as it's been before, a strong card in a number of formats. Staff of Magus, all the staffs are acceptable, I guess. The fact that it's 8 planes enter the battlefield in your control, or when you cast a spell, it's slightly more valuable than some of the other of these, like Angel Hair and stuff like that. Angel Feather, whatever it's called. Slightly more powerful, but they cost 3, which I think is just too heavy. They're going to be there for casual players to be like, ooh, look, I have the whole set. That's what they're there for. Bubbling Cauldron is kind of the same, and it also connects with some other cards which aren't here. So we have Festering Newt, which is somewhere else, so it's a combo piece. It's not all that powerful. It's, again, kind of just for limited and or for casual players to mess around in Constructed. I don't think it's going to be viable. Vial of Poison is supposed to gives Death Touch, so it's supposed to act like a form of removal. I think it's a bit weak for that, so I don't think it's going to be that powerful. Darksteel Ingot, it's nice to see a reprint of such a great card, and it is indestructible, so it's fabulous, definitely fabulous for limited. I think it may even be Constructed viable just because it's so hard to get rid of, and it's a great one-up. Source, Rod of Ruin, just flat out too expensive. Millstone, also too expensive. They're just better cards. It's cool art though, but just not good enough. Fire Shrieker is a lot of fun. It's definitely going to make limited insane. It's a little heavily costed, I think, for Constructed, so I don't think we're going to see it being played so much there, but it's a cool card. Trading Post is backed. Yay. Not much to say about Trading Post. We've seen it before. It's a fun card, weird card. Guardian of the Axes it's interesting. It's definitely going to be a nice bomb in limited. Don't think it's going to see play much anywhere else. Strionic Resonator is going to be an EDH Commander fun card. I don't quite know how powerful it's going to be in... Someone's going to have to make a weird deck with it in Standard or Modern. I don't think it's strong enough anywhere else. Haunted Mail Plate is just not good enough at this point, given that we still have Banned Hexproof going on. I guess in that sense you could play around with Banned Hexproof to make it better, but I just think it's a bit on the more expensive side. Unless we have better Wraths in the format, I don't think it's going to be strong enough because we have Geist around. Ratchet Bomb is back in action, and against token builds, of course, it's ridiculous. It's going to be good against a lot of aggro decks. Yay, Ratchet Bomb, welcome back. Pyromancer's Gauntlet is going to be funky and fun. I don't think it's for 5 mana. I think it's a bit too much of a drop. It's going to be insane in EDH, insane in the right deck, especially mono red. But I don't think it's going to make it quite there, even for a red deck wins variant. I think it's just slightly at range. It's nice that it makes the spells do so much more at the later part of the game, but most of the red deck wins decks will probably want to win before it even hits the table. So yeah, Door of Destinies is just going to be a lot of fun. It's a very flexible, what are they called? Anthem. It's a very flexible anthem, and I'm sure it'll be played around. It's definitely going to see lots of casual play. Will probably be insane in limited, and I think it has Constructed viability. So we could see something about it in Constructed in the coming months, especially when Theros comes out. Hopefully they'll have more also creature type focus. Ring of Three Wishes is just crazy. I don't think it's Constructed playable, but it'll be fun in EDH for players to make and break this card, since it can definitely be open to combo nonsense, and Darksteel Forge just to make Commander players happy, and I was right. It is Mythic because it deserves to be Mythic because it looks awesome, and it's just epic, so it deserves to be Mythic. Casual players will love it, EDH players love it, Modern, it can work, it works in Drawn, so yeah, thank you for that. So we have our artifacts, lands, and planeswalkers. Other videos are going to be singular, just creatures, just enchantments, just sorceries, and so on. So let me know your thoughts about our planeswalkers, lands, and artifacts below in the comments section as well. Check out my channel sponsors in the description and stay tuned for future spoiler videos. Rocks the Box 90 signing out. I'll see you guys next time.